and watch out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking helmets in. I bring the pain, so what you gon' do? Stand there and just get shook out ya. So clean out your locker, I'm out to get ya. Cause I just popped ya. You can't take the pressure. You might as well quit cause you just can't last. Madden 2000, put your face in the grass.
Austin Safarian-Jenkins, the first touchdown of Jameis Winston's career.
And your pride in the dirt, so put on a skirt. If you come on the field and don't wanna get hurt, just bruise and beaten, all black and blue. And it's been like that since Madden 92.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your host of Buccaneer News, Buccaneer Blake himself, coming fresh off of, well, I wouldn't call it fresh, it was a 1 o'clock game. It took me forever to get home because of the accident on the highway. It's kind of annoying after being gone the whole day from tailgating at like 9:30 in the morning to not getting home till like 6 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like almost working a day shift. Kind of crazy, huh? As I'm talking, I also did my commitments from the previous last 3 games. The 19 points we gave up. The 19 points, the 2 8.5, the 2 9.5s, plus the what was the game before? Oh, Panthers, the 37 points. I added all those up. Ended up being what, 37 minutes on the extra on the treadmill, whatever. I'll post that up. You'll see that as I'm talking. I'll let it play. So let's go into what happened in the game here. Bucs won against Jaguars today. Battle of Florida. Sorry, just kind of pausing. Just kind of tired, I guess. It's 2:39. Just getting around to doing this, and I just wanted to make sure it was out. I'm also like roll some clips and stuff as well, and talk about it, about certain situations in the game. So if you see some clips, those are what I'm talking about. So you know, better visual, and you remembering what I'm saying or from the game. 38-31 over Jacksonville. A game we were up 14 points. Excuse me, yawning and shit. Coming into the fourth quarter, I think with under 3 minutes left in the game or whatever, 2 minutes left in the game, they get the touchdown over Tim Jennings. Another one over Tim Jennings, I should say. And the onside kick, and we holding off for the win with 7 points. Blake Bortles had 23 for 33, 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick to Bradley McDougall, which is the 303 yards. You were like, oh my God, he gave up 303 yards. Oh my God. When you don't give up any rushing yards, I think we gave up 50 yards rushing total, maybe that. You got to do something. Throwing the ball was their thing. One-dimensional game. Winston went 13 for 19, 209 yards and a touchdown, no turnovers. Funny how both games we won, New Orleans and today, we didn't turn over the ball, and we won. And we had good reactions from the running game. Charles Sims had 4 receptions, 85 yards. Mike Evans had 3 receptions, 41 yards, and a drop touchdown pass. I'll talk about that later. Martin had 24 attempts, 123 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 passing touchdown. Now, which is good. I mean, Martin's been solid all game. I mean, all year. It's just, he's starting to get those breakouts. The offensive line starting to come together. Continuity is happening. What you're watching before you is things that weren't complacent or weren't, I don't know, as one intangibles, I guess. And now they're becoming, solid and they're working out. Even when we plug in other linemen, Kevin Campbell and Fragel from the practice squad played well, and Dye had a couple. That was a nice ass play. The screen pass that we threw to Dye, I think it was on the third down. He got stopped short, but I liked the play. He had a little convoy. Granted, he probably could have made more out of it, and I think I had a penalty out of it anyway, which didn't work out. But whatever, the guys stepping in from the practice squad came in and played well, which meaning they're well prepared by the coaches and not coming in all willy-nilly and not knowing what's going on. Like I said, which is good. Continuity is happening. Everybody's getting on the same page. Everybody's starting to buy into the system. I said last week after the game, expect when you don't have a tight end threat, which we don't. If we do, please put in the comment box who our tight end threat is. Matter of fact, I don't even think a tight end caught a pass today. Again, if I'm wrong, then I just apologize now if I'm wrong, but I don't believe a tight end caught a pass today. And he don't have a formidable slot receiver, which, again, I don't know where Louis Murphy is. I saw Vincent Jackson coming down and blocking and sealing edges on a lot of plays. Mike Evans as well was doing some blocking. But when you're not getting consistent competition out of the slot, and you're not getting consistent competition out of the tight end position, and your only weapons are on the edges, you got to have another weapon somewhere, or the defense can kind of play the same way the whole game. In which that's why I said a heavy dose of Charles Sims this game was going to make a difference. All those passes out the backfield, beating one-on-ones like Deion Lewis and the Patriots. When you don't have anything, you got to check down. Doug Martin too. He was catching the check downs, being the first defender, and picking up yards. That's what you got to do. It's really a simple offense. It's not, I hear a guy in there, open up the playbook. No, they have to execute. You have to execute. You can't just open up the playbook. Fire Lovely Smith. Like, shut up. I'm like, you gotta execute. As a matter of fact, like I said, the people that are haters, like, I don't know why they even call themselves Bucs fans. I really wish they wouldn't be Bucs fans. I mean, I honestly wish you would just root for somebody else. Honestly, just leave, because hearing you bitching all the time is really annoying. Just root for somebody else. Seriously. I said, you guys want to ride Winston's ass 24/7. I said, but not the first deep ball to Mike Evans, but the other, I wouldn't call it, wasn't deep. He threw the end zone pass to Mike Evans, and instead of going up with his hands and catching this pass, he tries to body it, and guess what? He drops it. He drops a pass that Winston put right on his chest, but nobody talks about those. Everybody just wants to bash them when it's convenient for them, but you don't want to talk about the passes that old Mikey got hit in his chest for a touchdown and is dropping him because he wears gloves and don't want to catch with his hands, but we don't talk about that. And then the play after that, he threw a pass, an en route to Vincent Jackson, a nice low ball so he don't get hit and hurt. Goes right through Vincent's hands or hits him in the chest and bounces off, which happens a lot with Vincent Jackson. He tends to catch us with his body a lot. Oh, well, yeah, shit. I told you, 2 o'clock in the morning, man. Sorry about that. But yeah, he tends to do that a lot for some reason the past couple of years. Maybe it's old age, he's not securing his hands, whatever. But even in the 2-point conversion, he didn't really look comfortable catching the out route with his hands. He kind of bobbled it and then picked it up. But yeah, the receivers, you got to come together and make these catches on third downs and can't put it all on Winston. Hell, the running backs don't drop passes like that. Just saying. You wear gloves, use your hands. Catch. Hell, gloves made Odell Beckham right now. I ain't going to say he had a good rookie year, but the gloves is why he made that catch, and the fact that his hands are 2XL. I want to give a personal shout out to Bobby Rainey, which people tend to overlook. Special teams is very, very important. The field position game. If you're getting the ball at the 40-yard line all the time and getting big returns on the other side of the 50, that is awesome. That is amazing that you can get that over there. And I think that kind of goes falling by the wayside, but I notice it. And great job to you, Bobby Rainey. You can step in my huddle, and yeah, you can get a big shout out with that. You've been playing well, even though it hasn't been offense, but you've been making plays, especially on punt returns and kick returns. At the end of the half, I was kind of pissed off. I don't know why nobody cheered. I told John in front of me, I said, if we can get the ball, get a return to the 40-yard line, I think we should go for it and get a field goal. I think we call a screen pass or something happened. It was another penalty, and it got pushed back. It was still repeat the first down. I think we kind of just ran the ball. Yeah, ran a draw play and then just ran it to the half. I just think we should capitalize on opportunities to get points. I know you're scared, you don't want to turn over the ball, but when you play scared like that, sometimes they come biting in the ass. Now, if you give Peyton Manning or Tom Brady that ball on our 40 with like 30-something seconds left with 3 timeouts, I think that's more than enough time for them to go down and at least get in field goal range. Another 30, 40 yards to get in field goal range. If it happens, sometimes the plays get broke up, or whatever happens, whatever. But I at least think you should at least went for it. Even if if you catch a deep bomb one-on-one with Evans and then catch it in their 20-yard line area, they're not going to drive 80 yards in less than 20 seconds. If we do, we got more problems than we thought. Sorry for the pause. We'll make sure I don't miss things. Like I said, we're 2-3 going into the bye, which I said we wanted to do 2-3, and then come out of the bye healthier. I think we should have ASJ back. We should have a couple receivers back. Like I said, we need some help. Throwing out tight end and slot receivers. Need some help. It's going to help the guys on the outside. Even though we move Mike Evans to the to the slot every now and then. But yeah, I need some help in other positions. Make the offense a lot more fluent. That's just what I think. Coming 2-3, coming out of the bye, even it up at 500 be awesome. And we're not. Washington's are playing really well. Like, I don't know what's going on with the whole Alfred Morris thing and the new back they got out there, the Florida Gator. Not Wilder, but Wilder went from Florida State. Mike Jones. Mike Jones, is it Mike Jones? I'll make sure I'm calling the right people by their names. I like to give credit to everybody when credit is due. Anyone think it's Mike Jones? I believe. Yes. Matt Jones. Sorry, I kept saying Mike Jones. See, I was way off. Matt Jones coming out of Florida. He's been balling for Washington, pretty good with him and Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris hasn't really been going off again. I don't know if he's getting phased out of the offense. I don't know what's going on, but Washington has been playing bad. They got a lot of picks on Atlanta today, and hopefully it doesn't happen to us. Keep the turnover ratio down. This could be a dogfight. We could come out with a win. Cover Julio Jones. Don't give Matt Ryan too much time in the pocket. Probably do those loops. Those loops on the D. The D tackle comes in, the D tackle comes out, and the end comes loops around. You see that a few times. Or we've been using the double A gap blitzes with the Quan Alexander and Levante David. Been picking up some sacks like that. Speaking of sacks, Gerald McCoy had 1.5 today. I thought it was 2. That would have made him leading the league at 5 sacks. He's at 4.5. He's tied with DeMarcus Ware, along with Jacquez Smith with 4. And what about the kid, Howard Johnson? Howard Johnson coming up with 2 sacks out of a small college called... I forgot it. It's a little small college. Hold on, let me give you some props, Howard Johnson. So call your stats out correctly. Give props when props is due. Give props when props is due. Why is this not coming up? Anyway, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Oh no, hold on, I got a faster way. Let me pick this up on this BR Team Stream. It's an awesome app if you never use it. You can get pretty much everything with any team, or follow whatever you want to follow on there. It's a pretty awesome app. Gives you live updates. I think it's better than ESPN if you ask me. But again, it's just my opinion. Sorry, guys. Sorry. We ended up with 6 sacks on the day. Arthur Ron Verner had .5. We'll talk about Arthur Ron in a minute. Like I said earlier, Gerald McCoy had a sack. McDougal had a pick. Howard Jones. They actually have him listed as, what is that, a linebacker? Number 95. Why isn't each... His stats ain't even in... It's not even... Not even showing up on the actual website. Howard Johnson out of Shepherd. Sorry. Had to find a little small. Howard Johnson at Shepherd comes with 2 sacks today. Again, maybe it's against a formidable. We was playing against a formidable opponent, or it's just the rotation. I like rotation. That's what Seattle does. Seattle's successful at rotation. I think we're kind of falling in there. We got 2 Seattle defensive tackles, Clinton McDonald, and the big boy. God, I'm terrible remembering people's names today. The other big guy we picked out of free agency, both from Seattle, trying to adapt some culture, which I love a lot with the whole defensive line rotation and everything. But what was I saying earlier? Oh, about Arthur Ron Verner. I'm really confused. Like, is Arthur Ron in the doghouse? Is he playing that bad? Because you watch them highlights. Tim Jennings was on the tail end in a bad way of all the touchdowns, all 4 receiving touchdowns today by Blake Bortles. And put Jonathan Banks out. Mike James did pretty well coming in. He didn't give up too much. But I used to think Arthur Ron Verner was our best corner. I guess I always think that when we go out and spend money on free agents, when we probably have a better player right on our roster, we just got to develop them. But yeah, hopefully Jonathan Banks comes back in a big way, come with some picks next week against Washington, get up big away, shut that crowd up, and come away with victory and come down with 3-3. Hopefully it's a win, or I don't have to be biting my nails at the end of the game. God, I get tired of those. But I just hope, like I said, every week, we have to compete. Like, even if you get beat, you got to compete. You got to be competitive in all games, and that's what's very important, is being competitive. And being competitive almost got Washington to beat Atlanta, dethroning them from their undefeated streak, making them 4-1. Overtime, Kirk Cousins threw a very bad ball. It was pick 6, which hopefully we can get some of those from him next week, get the pressure on him, force him to make bad passes, because he will make bad passes, much like Winston. Young QBs, man. It happens. Was there anything else I wanted to cover? Doug Martin played well. Offensive line played well. Not too many bad penalties. Nobody got beat too bad. Winston. Everybody, what the old people, they always say, well, we should have took Mariota. Mariota. No whiny bitch Buck fans as usual. Mariota didn't do too much either. He averaging 5 yards a pass. I think he threw for 32 times. For only I'm going to guess before I even check it out, 162 yards. He threw for 32 times for only 132 yards. Jameis Winston threw for 209 and a touchdown. And only had 19 attempts. 13 of them were completed. And 2 were those drops that I was telling you about earlier by Mike Evans, the one play in the end zone for a touchdown. And the very next play on the 3rd down, Vincent Jackson body catching and making it and dropping it. Yeah, Mariota threw for 32 attempts and 187 yards, which would make him 5.5 somewhere for average. 5.5 yards 5 yards a passing attempt. So, which makes me believe you're throwing a lot of short passes the whole game. I mean, that's gonna work, but it ain't gonna win many games. And everybody keeps talking about Winston and the picks and blah blah blah, loving to take shots at him. Last time I checked, before the game was played today, the Titans were 1-3 as well. Maybe you didn't hear me. Come in the huddle. The Titans, the mighty Titans, the Mariota Titans, were 1-3 as well, and now they're 1-4. But we should have took Mariota. I think Winston is the guy. I normally don't believe in Heisman quarterbacks. You can quote me on this if you watch this. You look and see how many successful Heisman Trophy quarterbacks they are. I kind of got to live with it. We drafted him #1 overall. He didn't win the Heisman that year, so maybe the curse doesn't fall to him because Mariota won that year and Winston won the year prior. So maybe he doesn't get cursed. Who knows? Maybe the crab legs broke him out. Who knows? But I got to roll with it. He's my Bucs, and he's part of it. I just wish we just keep getting better every week, filling that roster up with competition. I don't think there's much else I want to talk about. Now going to my picks. What was that? Wednesday. I'll send you guys out my picks on Wednesday. Again, there's one more thing. It's a little sentimental to me. Where is it at? It's a little sentimental to me. Very close friend of mine he had died a couple years ago. Very close friend of mine. I call him my cousin. His name was Vaughn. Kellum. Before we moved to Tampa, or I moved to Tampa, we both wanted to move to Florida from Philadelphia. He went to Jacksonville. Myself out here to Tampa to see our teams instead of always dreaming about watching them play and never actually doing. Just actually do it. So I always say you're the master of everything. You just do things. I don't have any family here. This is something I wanted to do, and I just made it happen, and just making the best of it. That's all we got in this life, taking chances and doing things. Because you never fail at anything, then you've never done anything in your life. If you've never failed, you never tried anything. If that's you, then you live a very boring life. Yeah, this game was a little sentimental to me. He was a Jacksonville fan. There's not too many of those. I couldn't be too mad at them fans. They know what struggle is like. They know what drafting QBs and taking a top 5 pick every year and never turning out to be anything. Your receiver, Justin Blackman, is an alcoholic or lazy, and you know what it's like. But it was a sentimental game to me because his birthday is actually this week. It's October 14th, and he was a Jacksonville fan, hardcore, and we both would have been watching that game today. It's something nothing sports related. Maybe just telling you a little bit about the way I felt about today's game. It was a emotional roller coaster on the field and off the field, just personal feelings. It was a good win for us today, and it was a good win for me in remembering things, remembering old friends, and the people that make you happy in your life. We all think that material things and all types of other stuff is what makes you happy, and it's really not. It took me a long time to realize that. I'm still realizing it. You're never too old to learn stuff. But all you have is what you leave behind. That's what people remember you by. That's up to you what you want them to remember you by. Is it by awards and trophies, or you making people laugh? And I just been really thinking about that. But I'm sorry to bother you guys with that. It's just something personal with today's game. And Miss Brenda, if you're watching it, I said you're like my second mother to me. I know I'm like your second son, and I love Vaughn just as much as you do. I know you texted me earlier, and you were thinking about this game just like I was, and I don't want you to ever forget your son. And I know the pain will never go away, but I'll always be here. Vaughn's with me, Vaughn's with you, and he will never die. That's a physical thing. Spiritual and emotional goes on forever. Your physical body is something that's never meant to remain. Everything else is eternal. Again, I'm sorry for rambling on and going totally off of football, but like today meant something for me. And as always, I'm reporting out. Blake on Buccaneer Sports, BBNN. You're the master of everything you do in your life. What you do with it is up to you, and you have control of it. Thank you, and y'all be safe.
see, I'm Jamie Foxx.
GC, let me borrow this beat. What's that smell? Hell yeah, that's me. Definition of the SHIT, rapping 305 to the 813. I